What if the wife passes before the foreigner?
In the laws of succession, intestate succession.
Interstate, yeah.
Yeah, dual citizenship is actually
Perfect. Quick questions from some subscribers. If you want, just give a general answer, nothing too specific, because I know it's case by case and everything. One concern of one of the subscribers, his name is Chris, is that what if the wife passes before the foreigner, and as you opened up a little bit, the foreigner can fully own the house, but not the property. Can you go into a snippet of the rules of succession or how to set it up for succession?
There is one exception wherein the foreigner could own a land in the Philippines, and that is via succession. And this succession must be through intestate succession. There are two modes of succession in the Philippines. One is a testate, which there is like a last will and testament.
Okay.
And intestate, wherein there is no last will and testament. In order to discourage the run around of like owning the land through testate succession, like having a dummy who is like, who knows, this guy who has like a cancer and would be terminally like who had like a deadline already of like probably just 6 months, and then you just strike a deal with him. Hey, I'll pay you 1 million, and so that I could own this land. Just create a last will and testament that you would be giving that to me, right?
That's a no-no, right? That's a no-no.
Yeah, that's a no-no. So in order to prohibit that, the only way that a foreigner can own via succession is only through intestate succession, meaning you really own it because the law says that it is yours. If the wife owns the land and there are children under our laws of succession, intestate succession, the children will own 50% of that.
Okay.
And the husband or the wife, the succeeding or the living spouse would get the same share as one child. If there are two children, then there are no last will and testament, then we would just have to divide it by 3.
Okay.
If only one child, then 50-50 between the husband and the spouse and the child. If there are no children and there are no living parent, the deceased spouse,
right,
then the living spouse would be owning 100%.
Oh, so for even a foreigner can do that as well.
Yeah, but then if there are like living parents, then the parents could also get 50% as well.
So another question would be like pertaining to that land. It's clear that it's the deceased person, the deceased spouse, like because there's no next of kin type thing where it's like, oh no, my sister just died, so I'm the only Filipino here. The brother or the sister, they can't claim it. It's still the foreigner. It still goes into succession for the foreigner.
In the laws of succession, intestate succession. Yeah, the descendants are going down, right?
Yes.
The children, the grandchildren, the great grandchildren. Those are we call descendants, and then ascendants going up, and then collateral. That's like the siblings.
Okay.
So in the laws of succession, the descendants will exclude the ascendants. Okay. So if there are children, the parents can no longer get anything, and the descendants will also exclude the collateral, heirs, the sibling. If there are like ascendants, no descendants, the ascendants will also exclude the collateral. In a case wherein the wife the deceased spouse have died, and there are like children, of course, the brothers and the other siblings cannot get anymore. Also the parents, and if there are parents, the siblings could also not claim again.
Right.
But right now, the spouse is somewhere not there as well, right? We are only like talking about descendants, and collateral.
Uh-huh.
So this spouse is actually a very like a special person.
Okay.
So, but then if there is a spouse, there are instances wherein the siblings could still get, even if there is a spouse. The spouse surviving with the siblings of the deceased spouse, the law says the spouse would get one half of the inheritance, and one half will go to the siblings. So the siblings would just have to divide it among themselves.
Oh, okay. So pertaining to property, not house. Pertaining to the land. Oh,
pertaining to the land.
So technically, if it was 1,000 square meters, the foreigner would get 500, and then the siblings would get the 500. But depending on how many siblings, they will divide the 500 amongst them.
True.
Okay.
Yeah. In our in our family relations, we could have said that the foreigner could have already owned like 500 of that because that is a conjugal property. We have the term conjugal properties, right?
If they purchase it.
But then as to lands, considering that a land cannot be owned by the foreigner, that land cannot be part of the conjugal properties, and that would just really be a sole property of the spouse. I mean, the Filipino spouse.
Okay.
So in that case, the entire land would have to be considered as part of the inheritance, and only the 50% of that could be given to the foreigner as as inheritance, which is, as I said, the only exception to owning the land. Interstate. Yeah.
Interstate succession. Okay, no, I think that is a golden nugget of information for some foreigners, because, like you said before, it's a gray area that some foreigners don't want to discuss, because it's, it's like, oh, what if, because how Filipinos are like, or what if you die? Oh, simbako, don't talk about that. But it does happen. It is going to happen. So, I believe that's more beneficial for the Filipino as well, and the foreigner, because the Filipino can dictate the conversation with their siblings and their descendants and their ascendants. Like, this is what's gonna happen if ever something happens to me before him or her or whatever, because that's a very important conversation, because people have died over things like that. People have, lost many things, unfortunately, life sometimes. Well, attorney, I got a segue question. What happens when do you specialize in dual citizenships, or people that have dual citizenships and ownerships and stuff like that?
Dual citizenship is actually just this, because it's a political law question.
Right.
The Philippines do not in a way acknowledge that you are a citizen of another country. As for the Philippine state, as for the Republic of the Philippines, you are only a Filipino citizen. So the question there is, are you a Filipino citizen or not? Is your citizenship on another country make you a non-Filipino, or were you able to retain such citizenship? If you are still a Filipino, then you are a Filipino. You are not a citizen. I mean, the Republic of the Philippines do not care if you're like a citizen of another country. The question really is that, if you're a Filipino.
So basically, some people always ask, like, what powers do I have being a dual citizen? But you answered it. It's pretty much, once acquiring dual citizenship, once entering that country, or let's say, for instance, for the Philippines, you're a full-on Filipino, so you have the rights of any other Filipino in the world. And then you being an American, British, or whatever citizen doesn't matter when it comes to land, business, and stuff like that. Because once you're identified as a pure Filipino citizen, you just have the rights of any Filipino citizen has.
True.
Okay, got it.
It would only be a question if you are like planning to run in the position.
Politics. In politics?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but I mean, most people, they're just more concerned of, I'm a dual citizen, what are my powers? Like, can I still buy property? Am I limited to, like buy-in standards? Or, you know what I'm saying? So,
If it's only if that's the only question, then yeah,
You're Filipino.
you are just like any other Filipino.
Okay, got it. Um, and within the VisayanLawyer.com, do you have attorneys who specialize in processing for dual citizenship or helping or I don't even know how the process is, but do you have any lawyers that help other people, foreigners, petition their kids, or I don't know the process of becoming a dual citizen?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have I think three lawyers
Okay.
who are like practicing immigration.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, attorney Remfel Lore, as well as attorney Sarah Ningasca and
Ho-
attorney Dino Tanoy
hopefully,
are like specializing on
hopefully after today I can get some time with them, because one of the biggest concerns of expat is visas and immigration, the staying there, as well as what happens to my kids and all that mess. Maybe those three attorneys can enlighten them in that way as to giving some clarification and peace of mind. Pretty much, they're going after just peace of mind.
yeah. Attorney Sarah and attorney Remfel are like their practice is usually if you're in the Philippines and um, wanted to have, or you have some questions with regards to Philippine immigration.
Okay.
I think attorney Tanoy's specialty is if you want to go like abroad, because
Okay.
attorney Tanoy is I think he's in the States right now as well.
Oh wow.
And or he just recently got back in the Philippines. I'm not sure, but then he is also like a practicing lawyer in a state there in the U.S.
Oh wow. Okay.
So yeah, it's good to like have some conversations with him as well, because he's pretty like familiar with both the Philippine law as well as the U.S. law.
That would be amazing.